Hi everyone, my name is Aklil Tasfaldat and this video is about my podcast review. So from the three options, I choose the last one, option 3, Brothers from Another Planet. In question number 1, what general terms about humanity, the global village does this podcast episode illustrate? And my answer is, this podcast illustrates about humanity across cultural divides despite difference in nationality, language, religion, and life circumstances. The story shows that people can deeply connect on a human level. Question number 2. What lesson can students of intercultural communication learn from this podcast episode? From this podcast, you can learn shared humanity is a bridge that people from different backgrounds still laugh at the same jokes, care about their families, and want to feel understood. Question number 3. How did this podcast episode help you to understand the perceptions, life identity, and the cultural context of the people in this episode? This podcast episode made it clear that cultural context affects how people express themselves. But when we take time to listen and build relationship, we can move beyond assumptions and connect on a deeper level. It also reminded me that self-identity is not fixed. It grows through intercultural experience and learning from others. Question number 4. Who might you respond or feel if you were involved in this story? Choose one character or group to relate to this question. And my answer for this one, if I were involved in this story, I would relate most to Sam, the American who formed a close friendship with the Iraqi brothers. I imagine I would feel curious, open, and inspired. Curious about their culture and experience, open to learn from them, and inspired by how genuine connection can overcome cultural differences. Question number 5. In what years was the podcast published, and who might that historical context have impacted the way in which the story was told? The podcast was published in 2008, and the historical context impact by showcasing personal connections that transcended cultural and natural boundaries. The episode encouraged listeners to consider their perception and recognize the common humanity that links people across the globe. Question number 6. Who is the reporter who created this episode? And who might the reporter's background have impacted the way in which the story was told? And my answer for this one, the reporter of this episode is Sarah Blaisdell, and her personal connection to the story through her husband Sam, who became close friends with a group of Iraqi brothers, gave her unique insight into the intercultural bond. Blaisdell's storytelling highlights shared humanity and shows how meaningful connections can form across cultural divisions. Thank you very much.